But my question is, okay, it's a hard sell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we live in an era where, as you know, astrology is the poster child for pseudoscience and magical thinking, as if that's a bad thing. And you know, any argument that you're going to have with somebody who is from the scientific mindset is going to say, astrology is all fine and nice, it's quaint, I understand the psychological value of it, blah, 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 have fun in your basement. But it's not going to change the world because we need things to be repeatable and verifiable.
Right.
So I'm going to do a study and I'm going to say, okay, what is the effect of Mercury retrograde? Are there actually more car crashes and more computer things? Okay, I did the research and I found out that is not true. Sorry.
Right.
Moving on. Move along. So, you know, the question really is a big one, and I just want your take on it. And it's just, how does that conversion happen from people who are, because what I always say to people about astrology is that I'm not trying to convince you of its utility or its value in your life. And I can't do that unless you believe.
Unless you're open to.
And open to it, and or already believe that the universe is a meaningful place. If I have nothing to sell you, if you don't already, so how do we convert people into the idea to begin with that the universe is a meaningful place? I mean, this is then maybe a next step. But just that crossing that first hurdle, how does that happen?
It's a huge question. Thank you very much. Really important. Like, the way that I approach that, and I am really concerned with it because it's the academic mind that, you know, needs to be convinced on some levels. I am actually approaching it as an empiricism, as an empirical observation. And what's fascinating is one of the better studies I'm working on is actually the history of quantum physics, the history of quantum mechanics. And it is completely impressive as to the Jupiter-Uranus cycle. It's in Max Planck's chart. It's when he founded quantum mechanics. Einstein has it. Maxwell has it. When they found the W and Z boson quarks in 1983, Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. In Solvay Congress in 1927, when they founded the Heisenbergian principle, Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. When they discovered the big Higgs boson just recently, Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. There is an underlying system of contextualizing even scientific history with the movements of the planets. And so my personal opinion is that when enough of this is rendered in a way that's palatable to an academic modern mind that is highly skeptical and needing evidence and proof, it will do that. The thing is, here's another example, like the Uranus-Pluto conjunction in the 60s correlated to that the radical revolutionary energy of that decade. Right now, they are square to each other. We all knew that was going to happen. We couldn't tell you that exactly what would be happening this decade, but I can tell you that this is a radical revolutionary decade, and we expected that. Now, I can also say that at the end of this decade, in 2019, 2020, there will be a Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which corresponds to the World War I, World War II, the Great Depression, 9/11, Vietnam, and the last economic crash we just had. So at the end of this decade, there will be a different energy that won't be the same revolutionary, emancipatory energies we've felt for the past 8 or 9 years. Does that make sense? So, like, to me, there is evidence, empirical evidence in history that will ultimately be seen by scientists in a way that actually proves it. But it will never prove it in a this experiment reproduced will produce the same outcome type of way. It's not a materialistic science. It's an archetypal science. We are seeing archetypal predictions, not concrete predictions. It's much more analogous to, well, the uncertainty principle in that sense.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Chad.